Dean from Extreme Car Cleaning. Okay, we're up here in Canada. It's a little cool. It's just below freezing today, and the weather's not cooperating with us, so I figured I'd take some time out and show you our shop. So I'm going to give you a walkthrough. I'm going to show you the equipment we use, the products we use. I'm also going to show you the setup that we have in here. We keep everything on this wall that we use outside the building. That way it's nice and handy. We don't have to go running around looking for it all the time. And it keeps everything nice and neat and organized. Alright, first up is our iron release agent. Here we use BDX. Okay, a lot of people use Iron X. It's very similar. Okay, this is for taking out fallout or brake dust. Any iron contaminants this will remove. Next up, this is our wheel acid. Okay, what we use this for mostly is for oxidized rims that are really bad. When they get to the point where there's so much on them they're actually turning yellowish, this is what we grab. Because we save the fallout remover mostly for paint. But it does work well on rims as well, but if they're heavily coated, then we grab this first. Next up is our Zep Citrus Cleaner. Now you can get this at Home Depot. It's relatively inexpensive. It's about 12 or 13 bucks for a jug of it. Alright, it's well worth it. I mean, it works good. We use it in the steam cleaner, we use it in our spray bottles. It's very good at cutting grease, and it leaves a nice fresh scent inside the vehicle. So it's very handy, it does a lot of different jobs. Alright, we even use this in our tornado gun, which I'm going to cover a little bit later, okay? Here we have a simple soap and water solution. Now you're probably wondering what we use this for. Instead of using a detail spray for doing our clay, we use soap and water. Now what we use here, which is a little bit different, we used to use fallout clay a lot. It's an excellent product. I'm not going to complain about it. It's just we found something that works a little easier, and it's called a fallout mitt, or they also call it a nano mitt. Now I don't know if it's just a Canadian thing. I'd like some feedback. If you guys have any positive or negative input about the nano mitts, I'd like to hear it. Anyways, I'll cover those a little bit later, and I'll be showing you that a little bit later on in the video, or possibly in another part of the video. This is our window cleaner. Pretty straightforward. We use it's just a commercial window cleaner. All right. This one here, this is bug remover. This is from 3D. All right. Tom Cutler is our supplier. Shout out to him. All right. He's excellent. He actually informed me about a lot of different products that were out there that I had no idea existed, and everything that he's given us has worked excellent. So, like I said, Tom Cutler from 3D, he knows his stuff. He's an excellent rep, and I have nothing but good things to say about him because I really like his products. Another product of his is Grand Slam. We use this mostly for tar, and it works really good. We have a lot of vehicles in here from a roofing company, and this seems to cut it pretty good. So we use this. Alright, wherever we can't use a thinner or a bar salt based product, we go for the Grand Slam, and it does the job. Next on our wall here is our foam cannon. Okay, these are really handy. Now the reason I like these so much, once you're done rinsing the car, if you go over it with the foam cannon, you get the high pressure with the soap. It breaks down and emulsifies the dirt and grime that's still left on there that didn't come out when you rinsed it, and it really helps give you a much cleaner surface. So when you go to wash the vehicle, you've got a lot cleaner surface to start with. That's the whole idea, is to try and get as much dirt as you can off the car. That way there, when you go at it with your mitt, there's a lot less chance of scratching. Okay guys, this is some of the equipment we use in here. Alright, first up we have an AquaClean machine. Now this is a really good extractor, and it's a hot extractor. So what you do with this machine is you put hot water in it, and it does have an insulated tank, so it holds the temperature pretty good. I'd say it's good for about 40 to 45 minutes.
After that, the water cools down too much and it's not effective. We usually use it for mostly just sucking up water. That's what we use this machine for a lot. So what we have over here, this is a Thermax machine. Now this machine, the difference between the two, okay, is this machine here heats the water up to 180 degrees. Alright, and it maintains that heat because it has its own heating tank in it. So this is the machine we go to when we're breaking down salt and grease and candy, lipstick, anything that's in the carpet. This is the machine we go to. Alright, that's why when this machine's tied up doing interiors, we use the other one for the extraction for floor mats, trunk liners, different areas that aren't as dirty. Next up is our Karcher pressure washer. Alright, now this is a K5, okay, this is a premium one. Now the difference between the two, if you get a K5 and it's just the residential model, what's going to happen is you're going to find the line is not going to stand up. This has a much more flexible line to it, and it lasts a lot longer. If you're going to get into this and you're serious about it, you need to get serious equipment. Okay, this is an excellent starter machine. This is actually our secondary machine. So when we have heavy work to do, we go over to our Ryobi here. Now the Ryobi is very nice because we can hook up the foam can into it. Alright, this is great at getting in the wheel wells. Any areas that are difficult to get to, this has enough pressure that it can get to it and efficiently clean it. Especially when you're using the foam can and you want something with a lot of pressure so that when you're using the soap, the pressure is cut. So when you use the soap, you still want enough pressure in there that it's going to blow the dirt and grime out of your moldings. Anyways, next up we'll cover the lighting. Now, as you saw, we've got two ceiling fans with two spotlights each. Okay, those are 100-watt bulbs and they're LED. We also have two LED on the back wall. Okay. In that front cover that we have of 76 Firebird. Alright, and the overhead lights are LEDs. These lights here, these are fluorescents, okay, these are our side lights. We use these a lot for checking out the driver's side of the car. When we open the door inside, you can see right inside the car really well. The reason we have this lighting here is because the car is so close to the wall that this blocks out a lot of light. So that way there, when we turn these lights on, we can see everything that's going on this side. And the driver's side is the most important part of the vehicle because that's the part that the customer continuously sees. And all our lights here, they're all on their own separate switch. So we don't have to run these lights all the time. That's why we haven't been in a big rush to change these over to LED because they're not on that often. We only have them on if we're polishing or when we're doing the interior. Most of the time, these overhead lights that are on, they're all LEDs, so they're on for a long time because we're doing the roof, we're doing the hood, we're doing the trunk, we do the other side of the vehicle. So most of the time, those are the lights that we use to see what's going on with the car. Like I said, these are specialty lights, and everything in here is on a switch. So it's very handy because it saves us a lot of money. We don't have to have all the lights on all the time. That's pretty important. We also have 5 circuits in here. That way there, when we're working with different equipment at the same time, we can plug it in. We went around and we numbered. If you notice, you might not be able to see it, but this one's number 4. All our light circuit, we went around and we marked all our outlets number 4 that are connected to the lights. That way there we don't blow breakers. Because if I know I've already got all my lights on that circuit, and I flip the lights on, and I've got my steam cleaner plugged into number 4 or a pressure washer, then it saves me a lot of headache. I know, okay, I don't want to plug it in the lights. You know, I'll plug it into number 3 or number 2 or number 1 or number 5. I've got different circuits to grab, so it's nice. We do have isolated circuits. We have our number 3 circuit is actually 20 amp service, and that comes in really handy because when you're running heavy equipment like this, especially if you're using like a Thermax machine that draws 15 amps, you want to bump that up to about a 20 amp service for that one breaker, because if you don't, what's going to happen is if that draws a little bit of heat or it's working a little too hard, then it's going to pop the breaker right away. So it comes in handy to have the multiple circuits in here, especially in the winter time. Because a lot of times in the winter time we're running a couple of heaters inside to keep warm. So if we got 2 heaters on, there's 2 circuits that are taken up. Usually when the vehicle comes inside, we're only using 2 or 3 other pieces of equipment anyway. So the 5 circuits covers it. We'll plug in a couple of heaters and then we still have 3 circuits left to work with. One thing I want to show you is, if you notice, our cabinet is pretty high up. And the reason for that is we want to have clearance. Whenever we bring in a truck or a van and you open the door, we want to make sure that that clears. So this clears by about 2 inches. It's pretty important that you customize your shop to the vehicles that you're dealing with so that you're able to do more vehicles without running into a lot of problems. Especially when you're opening doors. You don't want to be dinging doors off of equipment. You don't want to ding it off of your cabinets or anything else that you have around the vehicle. So you want to take that into consideration, especially too when you're parking the vehicle. We always park the vehicle in. We make sure that when we open the door fully, that we've got a good 2 or 3 inch clearance between the bulbs and the door when it's fully extended. That way there, nobody will open the door accidentally and either break the bulbs or damage the door. Alright, that's pretty important. It'll save you a lot of headache. On this wall here we have a fire extinguisher. We also have one at the front corner. Alright. We're all about safety in here. We really go out of our way to try and work as safe as we can. And some of the other equipment we have here on our wall, we have our floor broom, our squeegees, and this is our vacuum hose. Alright, it plugs in over on this side. We have a central vac set up. Alright, and we actually have the vacuum cleaner outside. That way there's not a lot of noise in the shop. This compressor comes in really, really handy because that way we have continuous air. If you're blowing out an interior or you're blowing out a grill or you're blowing out the rims on a car, it's handy if you have a compressor, especially if you're working out of your home. That's our air compressor, and this is usually outside as well. We have a hose that we run out the door there. That way there we contain the noise outside, it's not inside the shop. This is our Thermax hose. You always want to go for the good stuff because eventually when you start doing a lot of cars, you want to go stainless steel. Okay, the plastic ones are nice when you're first starting out, but they do break down over time. They don't hold up as well. So eventually when you get to a high volume of cars, you want to go to something that's commercial rated because it's going to last. This is our hose. This one here is for the extractor that I showed you. That's insulated, the AquaClean. That's what this one is for. Notice I've got one of our heaters. If you have a ceramic heater, I find that it works pretty good. It keeps us pretty warm in here. It just takes the chill off. Usually in our shop, in the winter time, it's between 50 and 60 degrees in here. It's warm enough that we can do paint, sealant, waxing, we can do interiors in here, and it's comfortable to work in. Over here, this is our plumbing. Okay, if you notice here, this hose here we use for filling pails. This is our cold water tap. All right, we've got it wrapped up with our heat wrap. That way there, it won't freeze at night. It does get pretty cold here, being in Canada. So if you're in a warmer area, it's probably not an issue for you, but down here, it is pretty cold. So anyways, in the winter time, you always have the heat wrap on. We've got 2 lines here on the bottom. They feed our 2 power washers that are usually up front. Okay, and this is our dedicated hot line. Now it's really handy to have this right in the garage. That way you're not going inside all the time and dragging buckets in and out. And believe me, when we first started here at this location, and it is a pain, especially when you're filling a Thermax machine. It's so nice because now we just take the hose, fill the machine directly. We don't even have to fill a pail and then pour it in the machine. Okay, anything that cuts your work down or your time, it's going to save you a lot of money. This is our air line for the compressor I showed you. These are all our different cords, okay? These come in really handy. We have a lot of different extension cords. We even have a heavy duty cord here, alright? And this heavy duty cord, I'll show you here. Yeah. Now this heavy duty cord, the neat thing about it, it actually has a GFI built right into it. Now, we made this ourselves. This is actual heavy duty stove cable. Alright, and we put a GFI box on there. Now what this does is this makes it a safe circuit. So that way if I plug into a wall that does not have a GFI and I got to run an extension out in the driveway, I'm protected. So if I'm running a vacuum cleaner or something, or a polisher, and I'm standing in water, I'm not going to get electrocuted. This will prevent that from happening. So it's very important. That's another thing that I didn't cover. All our circuits all at the front of the building are all GFI. We use this whenever we're working off-site. Sometimes we have to, if we're doing a boat or we're going out to a business and we're doing their trucks, and their trucks are way too big to bring here, or it's too inconvenient to drive their trucks here. We've done all kinds of stuff. We've done transports, we've done stake trucks, we've done all kinds of different vehicles. So a lot of times when we're working off-site and we're not sure if they have GFI protected circuits, we bring this with us, we plug it in, and then we're working safe. Okay, this here. Now this I'm going to bring right up and show you. Okay, this is our Typhoon gun, and hopefully you can see this. There's little tiny holes right at the end of the gun. Okay, now what that does is the air flows right down this cone on the end. Now this cone is really nice. It's hard aluminum, and you can rub it in the carpet and it helps loosen stuff up when you're blowing. Now these little holes in here, okay, create a lot of air movement. So when you're blowing off rims, or you're blowing off grills, or you're blowing underneath the seat, it moves a lot of air. This is an excellent, excellent tool. Okay, Rob Schweiger from Snap-on is the one that put me onto this tool. Look him up online, look up Snap-on, give him a call. If you're local here, we're in Essex County, so if you're in Essex County, alright, around the Windsor area, you want to get a hold of Rob and ask him about this tool. He's the one that taught us about this. It's a fantastic tool. It's the best blow gun I've ever seen. Alright, and like I said, it's a Typhoon gun. This thing is fantastic. It's a must-have for anybody that's serious about detailing. Next up is one of my favorite tools. Okay, this is a tornado gun. Now the nice thing about this is you can put, there's a whole range of different chemicals you can put inside of this gun. Now what it does is you cut your chemical with water, okay, and it blows the chemical out under very high pressure. Now if you look inside here, alright, this is a spinning tip. Alright, it's very handy because what it does is as the chemical and the air is coming out, okay, because it's spinning, it's actually loosening up the fibers at the same time. So you can get a lot of cleaning done with this. Now, we converted this over, okay, we put a vacuum attachment on here. Now this was, altogether this cost about $300 Canadian by the time we were done doing the conversion, but it's well worth it. Now we use this a lot on seats, okay, that's our go-to tool for seats. Now the reason I use this as opposed to the extractor, even though it's a high heat machine, if it's lightly soiled, okay, just regular dirt, and we go with this machine, the seats almost instantly dry. Now with the Thermax machine, that's not the case. If it's a commercial vehicle, chances are we're not even going to bother with this. We're going to go right to the Thermax machine because it's so dirty that this will not cut it. Alright, don't get me wrong, this is an excellent tool. It does door jams, it does trunk clips, it does the trunk liners. This is fantastic for doing engine shampoos. Alright, there's a lot of use you're going to get out of this machine. This is a very good tool to purchase. Alright, you can use it with or without the chemical. All you have to do is turn the switch on and off. Alright, it's great for loosening up dog hair, sand. It's fantastic. Like a lot of times we'll go to this machine, we'll turn off the chemical, and we'll just go over something just to loosen up the dog hair. Another thing I want to mention about that with the dog hair is, hang this back up. If you've got a lot of dog hair in a vehicle, alright, one of the things you're going to want to do is spray it first with a fabric softener water solution. Now you want to go 1/4 fabric softener to 3/4 water. Alright? Now what it'll do is it'll kill the static on the hair, and it also loosens up the fiber in the fabric you're working on, whether it's the carpet or the seats, whatever it is. Now I've got that tip, okay, from Scott, from Dallas Paint Correction. Okay, I'm not going to take credit for other people's work here, all right? I like Scott a lot. I also like Larry Casilla from Ammo. I like Pan the Organizer. There's a lot of people that influence me and give me a lot of really good information. Now, if Pan reviews a product, I guarantee you're going to be happy with it. If he says it's good, give it a shot, because we've never been disappointed with anything that he's reviewed. Anything he's reviewed that he really likes, we find it works. Alright? That cartridge machine we have is the exact same one that he reviewed, and we purchased that before we saw the review, and I was so pleased to see he was using the same machine. Alright? One thing that we don't have here, that we are going to be purchasing in the spring, is a McCullough 1385 steamer. Now that comes in handy when you're getting in a real tight spot. Now, normally we go to the tornado gun, alright, but sometimes you need some heat in there. If somebody spilled something in there that's sticky or gooey, it's difficult sometimes to get it out with this, alright? So you'd want to go for the steam. So now we're going to be purchasing another piece of equipment just for that, because we like to be able to tackle as many different problems as we can and keep the customer happy. We've got our little roller stool. Okay, usually we use this for polishing. We'll put our small polisher on here and our compounds. And then it's kind of neat because you can roll around the car. It takes a lot of pressure off your back. It's really handy. Okay, and it gets you right down in a nice position where you're polishing the doors. Especially if you're going to be sitting there for a while. If you got a really bad scratch, you have to do a little bit of wet sanding or whatever. It's very handy to have the stool. Okay? Next up, this is one of our favorite machines. This is an ozone machine. Now, if you notice here, we've got 3 plates inside. Okay, most ozone machines only have 1. The reason we purchased this machine, it does it a lot faster. So if we run this in a car that's been smoked in, and don't forget we are up in Canada, so you know, we get a lot of vehicles with a lot of different things in them, the different odors that you want to get rid of. What we do is we put this machine in the car, put the car outside, close it all up, alright? When that machine's running, it's out there with doors sealed, windows up for 4 hours. Then what we do is we open up all 4 doors, we take the machine out, and we let the wind blow through that car for at least half an hour to an hour. We'll use the ozonator in a car, and then we tell the customer to pick it up the next day. If it's that dirty, chances are we're not going to finish it in one day anyway, because we have to shampoo it, we have to dry it, and then you have to run the ozone machine in when it's dry. You can't run that in it just after it's been shampooed, because the moisture will damage the plates in the machine. This cabinet here, this has a lot of different things in it, alright? The first shelf we have here, this is mostly our safety equipment, alright? We've got rubber gloves in here, we've got ventilation masks, we've got ear protection. Okay, that's where we keep most of our safety equipment is on that top shelf, and we use it a lot. Whenever you're vaporizing any kind of chemical, even if it's in a spray bottle, you should wear a chemical mask, alright? And these are not cheap masks. These masks cost us about 40 bucks each, but I mean, it's worth it. I mean, your health is always first. On this shelf here, we've got different microfiber towels. These are ones we use for mostly very dirty stuff that we're going to clean, alright? That's why we have them on a separate shelf, alright? If something's really nasty and greasy and we've got to clean it, we grab these. Or we'll use a disposable towel as well. We do have a lot of paper towel in here. And if it's really disgusting, then we'll go at it with a paper towel. Alright? But the microfiber rags, like I said, we do have older ones that we keep just for doing dirtier jobs. These ones here, these are Kirkland towels. Alright? You get them at Costco. They're fairly inexpensive. We love using these for taking off wax, sealant. They're really good for that. So we use these for wax and sealant, and then when they get old, then we use them as our ceramic rags. When we're done doing a ceramic coated car, alright, these are not that expensive, so we can throw them away after. Alright, because once you get ceramic coating on these, then they'll tend to scratch. So what we do is we throw them out right away. Okay, down here at the bottom, we've got different assortments of sandpaper. I'll show you what these are. These are sanding discs we bought from one of our suppliers. Alright, now we have 1000 and we also have 800. Now what we do is, if a car comes in and the headlights are all yellowed on it, we'll go and we'll hit it with the 800 with our 3-inch disc, then we'll hit it with the 1000, and then what we'll do is we'll finish that up by polishing it. We have a nice wool pad that we put on there. We polish the headlight with the wool pad, then we go right behind that and we do it with a black foam pad. Then when we're all done polishing those headlights, what we'll do afterwards is we'll coat it with ceramic. That way there, nothing gets back into the pores of the plastic to turn it yellow again. This is our drying towel. Okay. Now this is a big towel. So when you're drying a car, this will do one entire vehicle. Alright, and we've only got the one at the moment. So we use this on our high-end vehicles that we do. Up here we have one of our brush bins. Alright. We have some different detail brushes here. Now if you look at this, these are for cleaning vents. Okay, this is a really nice brush for getting in the little crevices, and this is nice for getting into the vents as well. Alright, usually now that we have the tornado gun, it does a really excellent job at cleaning out the vents. We usually blow through with the tornado gun. It gets right in there, it blows the chemical right through the vent, and there's not usually a lot of dust and debris left behind. These brushes do come in handy because sometimes we get a really nasty vehicle, and we do have a different assortment of brushes here. We also have a sonic scrubber, which comes in pretty handy. Sometimes there's little tight spots that we can't get into. Alright, if the chemical gun doesn't get in there, and we have a difficult time getting in there with the steam cleaner or any other tool, then we go for the sonic scrubber, and it gets right in the little areas. This is really nice for doing like cup holders and little trays inside the consoles. It's a very handy tool to have. Oh, we also have, now what this is a turbo brush. Now this connects up to our vacuum cleaner over there. This is really handy for dog hair. Now if you go with the dog hair with this first, it'll pull out a lot of dog hair. It's excellent for carpets. It's also excellent for seats. It's a very, very handy tool. Okay, that covers that tray. Okay, our next tray, okay, has our chemical funnel. And we also have some bug pads in here. They come in really handy, alright? A lot of times you can't get into places with different tools, and these are fantastic at getting in the spots. They're also good for cleaning headliners. If you get a little spot on the headliner and you go at it with a bug pad and just lightly dampen it with a chemical, it's nice because you can apply a little bit of pressure, alright, and it's not going to saturate your headliner to the point where the glue is going to separate and it's going to fall down. Alright, we also have a full assortment here of wax and sealant pads. We have different colored ones. The reason we do that is we like to use the sealant with the white pads, and we use the wax on the blue pads. It's just so that we know what chemical we're using with each one. It just makes it a lot easier. We never use any of these for ceramic. They're only for sealant and wax. That's all we use these for. Okay? So that's that tray. This cabinet over here is a Rubbermaid cabinet. The reason we went with this is the one that's always closest to the door. So a lot of times it's getting wet. So if we had a metal cabinet here, it would rust. We used to have a metal cabinet a long time ago when we were at our other location, and it continually rusted. So what we did was we went and upgraded, and we got ourselves a Rubbermaid cabinet. This thing is fantastic. Alright, it holds a lot of different supplies for us. This is basically our go-to cabinet for chemicals. Alright, up here we've got our Zep citrus cleaner, which I've already covered with you guys. Okay, we have Arm & Hammer with OxyClean. Now this we get at the buck store. It's about $2. Now we use 2 ounces of this and 2 ounces of the citrus cleaner when we use the Thermax machine, and it's excellent for cleaning and cutting grease. Alright, this is our Grand Slam. from 3D. This is an excellent product for removing tar. I've already covered that on the other part of the video there. Behind it we've got a big jug of Windex. This is our 3D bug remover. Okay, behind that we've got our BDX. Okay, on our next shelf over here, now if you notice, most of the products on here are mothers. Now the reason is we've been using mothers for 30 years and that's what got us to this point, okay? But there's always room for improvement, right? So now we've started using Larry Casilla's product from Ammo NYC. Now we're using the skin, okay? This is an excellent product. We use this on a Chevy Cruze, and I couldn't believe how bright the red was after we were done using this product. It really, really does work well. Okay. Pan the organizer reviewed this product as well. He's done the whole line of ammo, and he's got a new video out on the reflex. Now you guys should watch that as well. That's a really good video, and because of that video, now that we have a better understanding of how the reflex product works, because it's such a new product, we are going to bring it online here. We're actually going to put it on our vehicle. So we're going to be putting reflex on our 2016 Maxima, and we're going to top it up with ammo skin. We're also going to top it up with paste wax from ammo. This stuff is an excellent product too. Now these work well together. That's why we have a package here that's a sealant and wax package, and we upped it to this. If we're doing a base package, alright, we have two different types of wax. The Mother's M-Tech, alright, it's synthetic wax, okay. This lasts a little bit longer than the pure Carnauba wax, and it's very easy to put on, very easy to take off, alright. Now you can either get this, or you can get the Mother's Pure Carnauba when you get a basic package with us. All our prices are on our website, and they're also on our Facebook site. Now this is Mother's VLR. Now this is our go-to product for our interiors, alright, at this stage. Now if you order a base package from us, this is what we're going to be using inside. Now the reason we use this is it works well. It does not last as long as some of the other products that are out there, but this is very safe to use on the interior, and the reason we like it so much is it's a multi-purpose product. You can use this on vinyl, leather, or rubber. Okay, so we use it in the whole interior of the car, and it doesn't matter if we're going from leather to vinyl to plastic, it doesn't matter. This will do it. Down on the final shelf here, alright, as you notice, we have WD-40 in here. Now the reason we have this is not just to look after our equipment and keep it lubricated, but this is excellent for removing gum. This is the best product we found for removing gum, so this is what we use all the time. Alright? There's a little tip for you. Next up, this is rubbing alcohol. The reason we keep this in our shop is excellent for removing tree sap. Now, the higher the concentration, the better it's going to take it off. So if you go and you get a cheap bottle and it's, say, 40–50%, it's not going to cut the tree sap as quick. So if you want something that's 70 to 90%, it's going to cut it right off of there quick. That's what you want. Speed is everything when it comes to doing a job, as long as you're doing it properly. So this will save you time, and it saves you a lot of money. Instead of paying 30 bucks a bottle for tree sap remover, you can get this between $2 to $4, depending on the consistency of it, how strong it is, and you're going to save yourself a lot of money. Now this here, this is actually paint thinner. Okay, it's a special type of paint thinner. It's called a wash thinner. Now we have it in our Acrosol can. That's what we used to use before we got onto wash thinner. Now Acrosol by itself, standalone, is a good product. Alright, it's great for removing all kinds of stuff. But the wash thinner that we get in a 5-gallon pail does the exact same thing. That's another way you can save yourself some money. If you go to a body shop supplier and ask them for wash thinner, basically you're getting the same thing. Okay, it's a lot cheaper to buy it in bulk than it is
to just buy a small can. Now if you're doing a high volume of cars like we do in here, you want to go and get yourself some bulk, okay, because you're going to save a lot of money. Now next up here we have CLR, okay. This is fantastic for removing rust stains. A lot of times people go and they leave stuff on the floor of their car and it leaves a nasty rust stain in there. This is one of the things that we use to help break down that rust. Alright, if the orange cleaner doesn't cut it right off the bat, then we go to this. Okay, the CLR is excellent. Use it with a little toothbrush, works really well. Now, penetrating fluid, okay, we keep that around here. It works like WD-40, but this is a lot tougher for removing overspray. That's one of the things we like using on, okay? It's excellent for removing overspray, especially off of plastic trim. If you have porous plastic trim and you have some spray paint on there, this is the stuff to go to. If somebody goes and they spray bomb a car to be an idiot, you can use this and it'll take it off. Alright, you leave it on there, and as soon as it starts to wrinkle, you want to take it off right away. You don't want to leave this sitting on the car for a long period of time. Alright? You got to be careful with it, but it's excellent at removing overspray, especially from a spray can. Okay. Now this is an interior foam. These are always handy to have around because sometimes if you have a little spot you want to take out, and you don't have to break out all the other equipment. You don't have to break out the Thermax machine or the Aqua Clean or your steamer. Okay, a lot of times a foam cleaner will get in and remove a little spot that you have. If it's just one little spot or two little spots you have inside a car, you know, it's a handy thing to use, especially if it's not a full interior. If the guy's just coming here and getting a basic package, and we're just supposed to vacuum the car and I notice there's a nasty little stain in it, what I'll do is I'll grab this. It takes me 5 minutes and I point out to the customer that clean the spot for him and the guy's super happy. So if you have a little bit of spot cleaning to do, these are always good to have around. Alright, you don't necessarily have to go with this type of foam cleaner. There's a lot of different foam cleaners that are out there, but they are handy to have in your shop because if you just have a little spot you want to take out, this is what you want to go to if you're not doing a full interior. Okay? And at the end here we also have our ceramic products. Right? Now I've covered them in another video, okay, so I'm not going to go in depth with that. Down here in the bottom of our cabinet, okay, we've got our foam pads that we use for DeWalt polisher. Now we use a rotary polisher here as opposed to a DA. Now when I first started they didn't have DA polishers and I learned on a rotary and I've been using it for 30 years. Eventually I am getting a rotary in here because I've got to teach my young guys that are coming up, you know, how to polish. So we're going to start with some test panels and I'm going to teach them as we go. But most of the polishing that's done in here is done by myself. Alright, so I either use my DeWalt rotary or I use my 3-inch. Now the 3-inch is handy because not only does it do headlights, but if you've got a fine little scratch in a car, you go over it with this, or a little scuff mark on the car. These are handy because they'll do a nice little area. If you use them right, they're not going to put a lot of sling on the car, so you're not going to have compound everywhere, especially if you're doing a tight little spot. They get in where you can't get in with the big machine. It's a very handy tool to have. Alright, like I said, it's always good to have a compressor because you've got continuous air, and if you have a machine like this, you need a compressor. Okay. This is our brush drawer. Okay. Now, the coolest brush we have in here is a brass brush. This is really good for pet hair. Now it's soft, okay, but believe it or not, this does cling on to pet hair really well. It helps take it out. Now, if you use this, the turbo brush, and you use the fabric softener and the Thermax machine, there's nothing you can't get rid of. All right. Even a microfiber rag and a steamer is going to give you the same kind of effect once you've brushed out most of that hair. The steamer will help loosen it up too, but you have to hit it with the fabric softener. If you don't hit it with the fabric softener before you start, okay, you're fighting an uphill battle. It's very difficult to get that hair out. All right. But this is a very handy brush. Okay. we also, in here, we also have a couple of different brushes here. Okay? Now, these are throwaway brushes, alright? When our brushes get old, okay, these are toothbrushes. So when our brushes get old and we're no longer using them, we do keep them around here for doing really nasty jobs. Now, the reason is if I get into something that's got tar or grease or whatever all over it, then I can just chuck these after. I don't have to hang on to it and try and clean it out. Because time is everything. So if I really screw up one of these brushes, a lot of times too, some of the chemicals we use in here will curl the plastic on the brush and it ruins it. So we keep our detailing brushes just for detailing. If we were using a harsh chemical, then we'll grab a toothbrush, alright? Because it's going to destroy the brush afterwards. So once the brush is ruined, toss it in the garbage. Okay, this drawer here, it's mostly just our hose attachments. We have different quick connects in here. Okay, different power washer fittings. This spur comes in handy when you're using a wool pad, because if you're doing a boat or you're doing a commercial vehicle that's got a lot of fiberglass on it, you're going to want to go to the wool pad, because a lot of times if you're dealing with gel coat, you'll need the extra heat to clean that and bring the color back. So we don't use the spur that much anymore because we've gone mostly to foam pads, but when we're dealing with the boat or something that's got gel coat on it, then we'll go right to the wool pad, because you're wasting your time trying to clean it with foam. It's going to take you forever. Okay, over here we've got rain vision. Okay, that's a pretty handy product. Now we've upgraded from this to the detailer spray. Now with the detailer spray, it's really nice because if you spray it on the glass or the plastic, okay, you get the same beading effect you would with this rain vision. So we're using this right now until it's used up, but eventually we're going to be switching over to a multi-product detailer. Okay, probably not the one we're using with our ceramic coating, but we are going to get another product. We're going to go to Chemical Guys. We're going to check out what they have, because I'm looking for a product that'll put a nice coating on trim and glass, and that's a little more inexpensive. And finally, I want to cover this wall here. This is right by our doors as well, and there's a lot of handy tools in this area. So I'm going to run through them real quick. Alright, first off, this is our floor mat brush. Alright, we use this mostly on vinyl mats. Okay, these ones here we use for fabric mats. Alright, they're really good for doing the white lettering on the fabric mats. They're really handy. This brush here, it's a very soft tire brush. We use this for doing the rims. Okay, we have a customer with an Audi and he's got very nice rims on it. So we use this a lot of times because it won't scratch. Alright, we are going to Chemical Guys. We're looking for a little bit longer brush. We're going to see what they have down there. We're going to check out all the different tools they have and different chemicals. Because we're looking for something that is a little bit longer and will get in the back of the barrel. Because we do have some vehicles here with deeper rims, and it is an issue trying to get at the back of the rim sometimes. So we're looking for a tool that's going to take care of that. This is a Boris Hairs brush. It's for wheel nuts. Okay, it's really nice because it gets in right around and it cleans it without scratching the rims, which is very important. You notice here we have a lot of chamois. Now the reason for that is we use these a lot on the interiors of the cars. Alright. Now when you take one of these chamois, you wring it out with nice warm water and you gently go along a headliner, it will remove a lot of nicotine off it. That's why we like these so much. They'll do a very nice job of softly, gently cleaning the headliner without separating the glue so that the headliner doesn't fall down. This is our go-to tool for doing headliners. It also comes in handy for doing the door panels. After we go after it with the tornado gun, okay, and we chemically clean it, we go behind after and we wipe it down with this. That takes off any residue that's left behind by the gun. Alright? We do have a couple absorber chamois around here. These are very good for doing most of the vehicles that we do, but when we do a high-end car, we go right to the drying towel.
Alright? These are lamb's wool mitts. Now, we used to have a couple of microfiber mitts here, but they got destroyed. So when we go down to chemical, guys, we are looking for replacement mitts. We are going to get some really good microfiber mitts to replace those with, because we like to keep both here, because we have some customers prefer one over the other. So we like to have them both here so that we have them available to use. Another thing I want to show you guys. Now, you heard me mention earlier, okay, when I was talking about the chemicals, about the nano mitts. Now, these are nano mitts. Now, on the one side, it's just a microfiber mitt. On the other side is the synthetic clay. All right. This is really neat because it takes off a lot of overspray. It does it fast. Now, it takes off overspray. It also takes off brake dust. Now, if you notice, it's 4 times the size of a clay bar surface. There is 2 different colors. Now, the reason for that is this is not as coarse as this. Now, the yellow ones, you'd want to use that on a lighter color car because it leaves fine scratches and it is more noticeable on a darker car. Now, these scratches are very, very fine, and even on a dark car, they're very difficult to see. The only time these will become an issue when you're doing a panel on a car is if there's a lot of orange peel. If there's a lot of high spots in the paint, this will remove some of those high spots and it dulls them, so you'll notice it on the car. So usually we only use these when the vehicle's coming here for paint correction anyway. So if it's already coming here for paint correction and we notice that, okay, there's orange peel on the panel, then we'll either wet sand that panel with like a 2000 grit paper to remove any orange peel that's on there, or we'll go straight to buffing. It depends on what the customer has asked us for and how much paint correction they want. Alright? So that covers the nano mitts. Okay. Over here on this wall, you have a few different tools. Okay. One of the tools we have here, okay, is a scrubber. Now, this is a carpet scrubber. This is from the 1960s. Now, this is what we used to use to clean the carpets in the house. Now, it comes in very handy because that particular tool we use on the lawn floor mats that come out of vans or trucks. Okay, it's an awesome tool. What we do is we line up all the mats together. We use a little bit of our Arm & Hammer soap because it's so cheap. So we use that on the carpet. You run back and forth. After you power wash, you run back and forth with that. You go over with this machine, and it's nice because it's an upright. So we don't have to get on our hands and knees. And you can go right along all of them. It'll go from one floor mat right to the other, as long as you line them up together. You can go one right to the other. You can do like 4 mats at a time. It's really nice. Alright, so that covers that. And with this tool too, it does not have a ground built into it. So you have to run this in a GFI. If you don't run this in a GFI, you're taking a chance of getting a poke off it, alright? Now, over here, another neat tool we have. This is a handy groom brush. Okay, now what this brush is for, this is for fluffing up the pile and the floor mats after you go and you extract them. It works really, really well. When you go and you fluff up that pile after, it helps the carpet dry a lot quicker. Okay? Okay, these are a couple of different carpet tools we have. Alright? They're a little stiffer, alright, than the tire brushes that we have over there. Now these are really good at getting into tight spots, you know, behind the brake and gas pedal. Areas where you have trouble getting in, these are nice and they'll loosen up a lot of stuff. This one here we tend to use a lot on the brake pedal itself and the gas pedal, just to clean all the dirt off of there so it looks really nice when the customer picks the car up. Now, this is a rim tool. We no longer use this as a rim tool. We had one of these previously. It got destroyed in a very short amount of time. When you're using very harsh chemicals with this tool, it will come apart. But my son pointed out to me that this would be a really good tool for cleaning the dashboard. So we purchased a new one, and that's all we use it for, is dusting out the dash. Now this tool is fantastic. These little fingers on here get in right into the vents.
So when you look in through the window, you don't see any of that dust and grime in there. Now we only use this for light dusting, so it never gets ruined. We never use chemicals with this brush. And it's lasted us, this has been over a year now. When we originally bought the brush, it only lasted us 2 months and it was totally destroyed because of the chemicals. Once you get the chemicals in here, it starts separating the pad from the metal bar that's inside of this. Now if you're just using this for dusting all the time, it's a fantastic tool. So I would recommend getting one of these if you're going to use it for dusting your dashboards. It's fantastic. Okay. This is a tool that we use for wheel wells, alright, especially on the bigger trucks and vans. Comes in very, very handy, alright, because you can get right in there at the back of the wheel. And wherever we can't reach with this, then we go to a bug pad, and you can get in there with your rubber glove on, and you can get right to the back, use a little bit of citrus solvent and come out very clean. These are our pails. Now one of the neat things is that we learned from Optimum, you can take one of your wash pails and drill holes in it, and it makes a grit guard. So when you drop this pail inside the other one, the dirt won't get back on the mitt because it falls down to the bottom and it can't get back up again. So that's pretty handy. Now, we are going to be purchasing a couple of pails from Chemical Guys with the grit guards in them. So this one here, this will just be our tire pail out. Alright? So this will be the one we're going to use for our tire pail, and the other two are going to be the ones we use for our exteriors on the cars. The last thing I want to point out is the rubber mats that we purchased from Costco. These mats are a nice thick foam mat. They're relatively cheap. They're only about 20 bucks. And they work really, really well, because if you're kneeling down beside the car, you're in there vacuuming, or you're trying to polish something on the side of the car, or you just have to lay down on the floor because you've got to get some tar off the bottom of it or anything else that got on the side of the car. These are fantastic mats. They'll save your back, they save your knees. It's a good thing to get, and it doesn't cost very much. Like I said again, we try our hardest in here to work safe and be as easy on ourselves as we can when we're working on vehicles, because a little goes a long way. Alright? I hope you guys found this video very helpful, and like I said, if you have any questions or comments, please Facebook us and we'll try and get back to you as quick as we can. Alright? Thank you very much for watching. Bye.